Good morning, friends, and I trust you've had a wonderful weekend and that this will be a bright new, wonderful week in your life. How do you deal with conflict? How do you deal with somebody who really rubs you the wrong way and you'd like to rub them back the same way that they rub you? I think of a story that was told at Yellowstone Park. There are a lot of tourists, of course, come to Yellowstone National Park, and the story is told of a park service ranger who was explaining to a group of tourists who were watching a grizzly bear feed. He was explaining to them that the grizzly bear could defeat every animal except the buffalo and the Kodiak bear, and he didn't bother at all to fight either the buffalo or the Kodiak bear. One of the visitors pointed out to the park ranger that feeding with a grizzly bear were several skunks, and said, well, if he can defeat every animal, why is he letting those skunks down there drinking water and feeding with him? And said, oh, the grizzly bear knows the high price of getting even. And I think of that sometimes when I watch others in conflict, or sometimes when I watch the tendency in myself to strike back in the way that I've been struck at, that you have to assess whether or not it's worth the cost of getting even, and whether something of the thing you want to defeat will instead defeat you by getting inside your spirit. There's a very mystical verse in a very short book of the Bible. It's the book of Jude, right before the last book of the Bible, the book of Revelation. And in the book of Jude, the author talks about the time when the archangel Michael is wrestling with Satan for the body of Moses. As I said, it's a very mystical passage. And in the course of fighting with Satan, who is the accuser, Michael, the archangel of God, does not, Jude says, does not bring a railing accusation, but instead says, the Lord rebuke you. What is significant about that particular passage is it says that an archangel of God, in fighting the devil, chose not to become like the devil. The devil brings a railing accusation, but the archangel refused to be a railing accuser. Sometimes in trying to fight a mean or a difficult, an unforgiving, an unkind, an unsympathetic person, we can have their very spirit get into our own heart and life, so that in trying to get one up on them, we actually become like them. This is one of the reasons why Jesus told us that we are to bless those who persecute us, and why we are to turn the other cheek, and why we're to go the second mile, because he doesn't want the attitude of our enemy, so to speak, to get into us. He wants us to have a spirit that is in control, in self-control, at rest, and at peace. May God give you that very special peace in your life today, so that you can successfully deal with conflict, and rather than letting the conflict get inside of you, instead master the conflict so that you are well. May God bless you today.